Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I'd like to welcome you to our Gap Year Fair for Israel Programs for 2022. My name is Joshua and I'm the Israel Programs Marketing Assistant at the Zionist Federation of Australia. I also act as one of the MASA Israel Journey representatives here. Just some housekeeping rules. If anyone has any questions or would like to ask anything, there is a Q&A and a chat function down the bottom. So please ask any questions that you may have. We'll try and answer them as best we can and get to as many questions as we can. And I'd like to introduce our, the CEO of the Zionist Federation of Australia, Jeanette, who'll explain a little bit about a new funding initiative called Israel Go, which we're really, really excited about. And Jeanette, I hand over the virtual mic to you.
Thank you, Josh, and welcome everybody on this wonderful day to be inside, I guess, wonderful day to be on Zoom. The weather outside, at least in Melbourne, is pretty conducive to staying in. So thank you for joining us here today. We're going to talk today about, or I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a new initiative which the Zionist Federation has introduced this year. It's a pilot program to run for 2022 and 2023 called Israel Go. Israel Go is about supporting young people going on gap year, long-term experiences in Israel. It's an initiative, as I said, of the Zionist Federation of Australia. We're supported by Karen Hayesod UIA, and Israel Go provides financial support to help eligible applicants experience their long-term program. And you hear all about which programs are part of MASA Israel and are therefore eligible through the course of today. So what are we offering? We're offering grants of up to 5,000 Australian dollars for MASA programs, participants of 4 to 6 months. So that's what we call our shorter long-term programs, or up to $10,000 for programs longer than 6 months. It's for anybody who is eligible for the program and who's graduating from school. It's basically a gap year initiative, but it's not just for those who are graduating in 2021. Those who graduated in 2020 or 2019 who didn't take a gap year experience or a long-term Israel program experience, either due to coronavirus or any other reason, in the year that they finished school, are also eligible for Israel Go support. It's only available for MASA programs, and it's only available for programs starting from the 1st of January 2022 and beyond. So it's in addition to any other support you'll be getting. And Josh is going to run through with you what support MASA Israel Journey itself provides to participants going on a long-term Israel program. If you get MASA Israel scholarships, this is in addition to that. If you get support from your youth movement or from another organisation, this is in addition to that support. We don't ask for your tax returns. We don't ask you to explain why you need it. We just basically say it's for people who do need this additional support to help them make that decision to go. It's funding supplied by very generous philanthropists. So it's, and they, like us, believe in the importance of the Israel program experience for the individual and for the community. So it's just as simple as going onto the Israel Go website, the designated page for Israel Go, reading more about the program, reading about the eligibility, filling in a very simple application form that'll take you no more than 5 minutes, and ticking the box on the form if you need the support that says, yes, I need Israel Go support, and that's your application. To be eligible, ultimately, because you have to be registered for MASA Israel Journey program, you will also have to apply for your program. We'll correlate that when we do the approval process, and the applications are due on the 8th of October, and we'll be letting people know sometime in November what level of support we're able to provide. So that's the basic information about Israel Go. And we're very happy to answer questions as we go, or of course, there's a designated email address for Israel Go queries, and we'll put that up in the chat box so you can see that as well. Josh, back to you. If there's no questions, let's have a look. There are questions. Does this seminar cover December to March programs? It's not a seminar. Let me just reiterate. Israel Go isn't a program in itself. It's funding support. It doesn't apply to programs which commence in December. It only applies for programs which commence from the 1st of January. So I hope that's answered your question, Noah. And if I go to chat and just have a look if there's questions there. Okay, that's just about recording. Okay, great. So yeah, the session is going to be recorded and you'll be able to, again, contact Josh after the fact if you need to see any sections of the recording that you want to review or show your kids. So thanks, Josh. And yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Well, thank you, Jeanette. I'm just going to now explain a little bit about MASA Israel Journey. So MASA was established in 2004 as a joint project of the Jewish Agency for Israel and the Israeli government to provide young Jewish adults from all around the world with the opportunity for a long-term immersive Israel experience. MASA is the umbrella organization for all long-term immersive Israel experiences ranging from 4 to 10 months in length and are for ages of 16 to 35 years old. MASA has a diverse portfolio of 4 to 10 month programs. They include volunteer and community service programs, internship and career development programs, undergraduate and graduate academic programs, Jewish studies programs, and while we're here today, for gap year programs. MASA has several important roles in its mission. So one of the main things that MASA does is that it accredits programs. So for a program to be under the banner of MASA, it needs to fulfill a certain set of criteria in order to be a program. MASA is also a compliance organization, so it provides quality assurance as well as safety and security for its participants, which I'll explain a little bit later on. And another key feature of MASA is that it provides grants and scholarships to eligible participants. So looking at the MASA funding now in the grants and scholarships, so there are two types of MASA funding. There's the universal grant and the means tested scholarships. The universal grant is between $200 and $800 and is based on the type of program and the length of program that you do. You do have the option to opt out of your, you do have the option to opt out and donate your universal grant if you require, or if you want to, sorry. In regards to the means tested scholarship, so this is extra financial assistance from MASA that is good that you can apply for if you require it. You can get up to $6,500 as part of the means tested scholarship. It is based on family income and the length of the program. So in order to apply, you will need to provide particular financial statements such as proofs of income and full tax returns in order to apply for the means tested scholarship. The amount that you will receive from the scholarship is done independently by the scholarship department by the team in Israel. So it's not done here at the ZFA in Australia and done with complete confidentiality. When you apply for MASA, there is a $50 application fee, which is refundable after the completion of your program. And the grants and the needs-based scholarships that you receive are paid directly to your program provider and ultimately reduced from the overall cost of your program. So how to apply for MASA and therefore the MASA funding. So first you apply for your program directly with your program provider. You then apply for your universal grant at masaisrael.org. And you can choose to continue your application for a needs-based scholarship if you require it, and it's just the same application. Regardless of whether you want funding or not, every fellow that goes on a program will need to fill out a MASA application as well. There are some also added value benefits that MASA provide on top of the quality assurance and the funding. So there are leadership seminars that are given as part of the programs, several cultural events that correlate with different chagim throughout the year. You're also part of a global MASA community, so you meet people from all over the world. You have Hebrew Ulpan classes incorporated in part of the program, as well as several trips in Tiulim, and you get to see all the beautiful aspects of Israel. I just briefly want to explain a little bit about the current Israel position. So at the moment, all MASA programs are operating as normal, with adjustments made if necessary. MASA programs are able to meet the changing health and safety needs and requirements. So as I'll just explain a little bit now about the health and safety and security, is that MASA Israel Journey places this health and safety and security of first priority to its participants. So if things were to change, MASA receives direct health and safety updates and requirements from the Israeli government, which is then passed on to the individual programs. So if there were changes in regards to density limits, into the amount of people you can have on buses, all these sorts of things, that information gets relayed directly from the Israeli government to MASA, and then MASA sends that straight to all the program providers in real time. So they are updated with the most relevant and up-to-date information from the Israeli government. And all the programs are required to adhere to all these regulations. If they don't, they can risk losing their program accreditation. In regards to the visa to enter into Israel, so currently all MASA participants need an entry to enter into Israel. Sorry, they require an entry permit, which is a new COVID requirement. When MASA participants receive an A2 visa, which is valid for the duration of the program, and extensions are available if someone desires to stay in Israel for a longer period of time. Israeli citizens or those that are deemed Israeli will need to apply for an army exemption through the Israeli embassy in Canberra. So the current protocol in regards to visas and entry permits is that it's issued by the program provider in Israel. If that process does change, however, the programs will update you, and MASA will also update you with those relevant changes. So just be on top of we'll ultimately let you know if the visa process does change. In regards to refunds and cancellations, each program has their own refund and cancellation policy. A new logistical requirement in order to leave Australia is travel exemptions. So in order to leave Australia, you need to get a travel exemption, which is awarded by the Australian Department of Home Affairs. Exemptions are provided on the basis of relocating for more than 3 months. So as MASA programs are at least 4 months in length or longer, it has enabled fellows to get exemptions. We have had people leave going to Israel throughout the pandemic. We've even had people leave this week. There was someone that left last night, actually. So throughout the pandemic, people have been able to get travel exemptions and go to Israel on MASA programs. Quarantining upon arrival into Israel. So quarantine is required and is between 1 to 7 days, but it is dependent on whether the fellow is vaccinated or not. This is the current situation and is subject to change. So by the start of next year, the quarantine protocols might be different from what they are now. But again, like everything what I've said so far, if the things do change, programs will update you in real time and will let you know of the most up-to-date information. The quarantine is organised by the program provider and it is not hotel quarantine. So the program provider takes care of the needs of the participants, such as food, health and programming during the quarantine. In regards to flights to Israel, there are limited flights at the moment, but we hope that they will increase by early 2022. MASA or the ZFA are involved in either the booking or the facilitation of flights. This is an individual obligation. We do recommend booking through a travel agent as they can assist with the cancellations and rebooking and transit, etc. Programs with a substantial number of Australian participants may organise a group flight, or the program themselves might organise a group flight. So be in touch with your program if that were to be the case. So how and when to apply? So each program has their own deadline. And so be in touch with your individual program of when their application deadline is. Once you've done your program application, you then also must apply with MASA in order to be part of the MASA program and to apply for the MASA funding. And you do that at masaisrael.org. Are there any other sources of funding? So Jeanette just before spoke about Israel Go, which we're really excited about, which is an extra source of funding if you require it. You can apply today at israelgo.org.au. If you have already applied for Israel Go, you don't need to do another application. We will hold your application. We'll let you know of your outcome. For those that haven't applied and feel that they need that extra financial help, you can apply today at israelgo.org.au, and you can speak to your program representative about other sources of funding as well. In regards to health insurance and COVID-19, so it is a MASA requirement that all programs have health and medical insurance that covers COVID-19 and provides full hospital cover. In regards to travel insurance, we recommend speaking to a travel agent for that. So today, that's it from me. Today, you're going to have the opportunity to hear from a wide range of programs speaking about a bunch of the different opportunities that you can have in Israel. So I just want to provide some prompts for you today to think about some of these questions to ask some of the providers. So things such as cost, program changes due to COVID or any other changes that might happen, particular health and safety measures, refunds, all these sorts of things. The program representatives are here today to help, and they really want to answer all of your questions. So really, we want this to be quite interactive. Use the chat function, ask the representatives questions, and they'll try their best to answer as many as they can. If anyone does want more information about the programs, feel free to get in touch. Feel free to call us. There's a number there, and you can feel free to email myself. And you can also check our Israel Programs website at israelprograms.com.au, which has all the up-to-date information about the Israel Programs. So that's it from me for now. I just want to reinforce that 2022, the only way to travel is with MASA, and we're really excited and thankful for Masada giving us the opportunity to travel. If anyone does have any questions, I can see there are a few things here. There's stuff in the chat. If anyone has any other questions, does anyone have anything else that, any other questions that anyone has that anyone wants greater clarification on or anything? Okay, no worries. If anyone doesn't have any other questions, we're going to continue with our gap year fair, and the next session will be starting in the next few minutes. So please just hold, and we'll start the next session soon. Oh, there is a question now. Does MASA provide TLM and Ulpan that is additional to the programs? It's incorporated as part of the program. So if you do, regardless of what program you have, the MASA, being a MASA program, the Ulpan is part of it as well as the TLM. They're incorporated within the program.
Can I just add, that's one of the benefits of MASA. MASA doesn't just provide the financial support, it also provides accreditation of programs. And as Josh said earlier, that safety and security. There's a situation room, there's current information, real-time information that goes through, and there's also the comfort and the confidence that any program that's been accredited by MASA has fantastic educational components, TLM components, and ULPAN components. They're all part of every MASA program. There's one more question.
I can see one. Does Youth Movement Schnut years come under? Yes. So all the Youth Movement programs are also under the MASA umbrella. So all long-term programs ranging from 4 to 10 months in length, they would all be under the MASA banner.
Okay, there's a question here. Why doesn't MASA organise flights? So the MASA isn't, firstly, MASA isn't the program provider. And you can imagine MASA has something like 200 program options that they accredit. They're not a program organiser themselves. They're program organisers for the range of programs that are undertaken. As Josh said before, some of the programs that have large cohorts of Australians do organise group flights, and they'll be in touch with you if that's the case. Sometimes there are programs that have smaller numbers of participants, so they really give the participants the opportunity to book the most, especially from Australia, the most favourable flights that are possible. The other thing that I'd say is it's really important, Josh said it before, but I'll reiterate, it's really important to go through a travel agent, especially during these times. It might seem tempting to go through an online booking service, but we found that particularly over the last 18 months with the pandemic, where people have had their bookings through travel agents, the travel agents have been able to bring them back to organise, the changes of flights that have been required. So strongly recommend that. And if you want to be in touch with us, and we can tell you the travel agents that programs have used and that individuals have used in the past, we're happy to share that information with you directly.
I can see there are a couple more questions. I've just got time to just answer one more. So the one from Kobe, which says, do you book twice, one through MASA and one through your direct program? So yeah, so you apply with your direct program, that's one application, and then you also do a separate application with MASA at masaisrael.org. So they are two separate applications, and you will need to do them both. It is 3:50, so we have gone a little bit over time. I'm sorry, Ron. We will get to your question later on, just because we need to keep moving. So thank you all very much for your questions. We really appreciate all your questions, and keep them coming.